Who are the dogs? Well, let's do a little inventory of dogs. We have Mayhem, who is a brindle-colored dog. I got her quite some time ago. It could be as long as, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago now. I don't recall. I got her along with another puppy. Mayhem came from Yotatiro, a small town nearby. I paid 100 pesos for her, at the time about $10. And I didn't want to have one puppy, because one puppy is lonely and needs lots of attention. If you have 2 puppies, the puppies take care of each other socially and are very happy. So I got Havoc. Havoc I got in Pátzcuaro. So I had Mayhem and Havoc as puppies. And I did stuff like took him down to the coast really early on and tossed him into waves and stuff, and they played. It was really great. Havoc unfortunately went missing. Stuff happens. It's a big forest. And, Havoc was old enough to be, not totally weak, but something happened to Havoc, and I don't know what. Mayhem has turned into a really smart, really loyal dog. She's brindle-colored, brindle pattern, whatever, and doesn't do what she's told. She could use a little training, I guess, although she doesn't do anything bad. So, she kills things. She is the #1 leader of killing things. The rest of the pack right now is really peaceful, so I'm hoping that she's getting out of her killing things phase, and that I can turn the other ones into almost pacifists, although I would like them to kill pocket gophers. That's a lot of wind. So now you know about Mayhem. Let's talk about Shiva. Shiva came from the town of Arangaricuro, or Aranga for short, and she grew up with a family that's friends of mine. And that family moved to Peru and then to the States, and they still come back to Aranga and visit quite often since they have a house here. But they gave me Shiva because they liked how I treat my dogs, and I have a really good space for dogs to live. Not totally safe, but it's just dog paradise, really. And at first, Shiva was, definitely a city dog and very people-focused, spent a lot of time with me, likes to get petted a lot, looks for attention. And over time, she's toughened up, she's learned a lot, but she's still in her heart is just wants to cuddle up to you and wants love. So Shiva's a really pleasant dog to have around and a good one to connect with if you're visiting here. I also like it that she's black and white. I have a special thing in my heart for black and white dogs. I used to have a dog named Besa May, which means kiss me in Spanish, but nobody in Seattle knew that, so it's kind of a little joke. And she was just a complete sweetheart, the best dog I've ever had or probably ever will have. Not really that bright, surprisingly, but everybody likes Besa May. So I keep on liking black and white dogs. So another dog here that I got as a puppy. Almost a lot of my dogs are rescues in one form or another. And somebody dropped off like 7 puppies in Yotatiro, the town of Yotatiro. And they just abandoned them there because they didn't want to deal with them. And so some kid told me about that. And then I was like, yeah, that's a bummer. And then I was starting my walk back home. And he brings his little puppy up to me and says, well, do you want one? And I was like, oh, damn. And it's really hard to say no to a puppy. It's easier for me to say no now that I've got a lot of dogs. But if I, have lost a dog or if my pack is a little bit light, then it's hard to say no to a cute puppy. And I'm happy I did say yes to this one. I named him Sonrisa. Sometimes I say her for him because he's just so dang pretty. He's got this nice tail with the hair flowing off of it and just a nice shape, very sleek, beautiful shape. At the moment, he's got dreadlocks on his butt because his hair is matted up, and that's kind of funny. And he's a good boy. He lives a lot of the time in town with my best friend there, and then comes over when he wants. And I've had dogs that did that before, who lived here some of the time and then there some of the time. So like right now, if you were to ask me how many dogs I have, I guess I'd say 5.5 dogs. Although Sonrisa's not here most of the time right now. So who knows. Then there's Cabron. Cabron is a skinny, tan little dog. And I first met Cabron because Cabron was on the street. A lot of wind. Was on the street in Aranga, It was all bloody and was barely walking, and in pain, great pain. And I just couldn't believe people just walking by this dog in pain, and I just couldn't do it. And I didn't need another dog at the time, but I just couldn't ignore this dog, and so I picked up the dog, which wasn't named Cabron yet, and the dog tried to bite me and stuff, and I'm trying to hold it, and it's like trying to bite my face. And I walk it over to the vet, and I say, hey, can you sew this dog up? And he's like, yeah. And he sews the dog up. I come back the next day, and I figure, okay, I'll take care of this dang dog. And the dog was still scared of me, and had stitches on its leg. It had injuries already. He still limps around and stuff. And the dog took 3 days to trust me at all. I was using food to convince the dog to like me, but he's like hiding under the bed, and just thought I was going to kill him or something, because this dog is a street dog. And while my other dogs have mostly all grown up here, this one probably grew up in fairly bad conditions, and it shows psychologically. Still a sweetheart dog. Has some fairly odd behaviors, like he tends to want to nip at people. But what's cute is it appears that he picks things up in his mouth, and it appears that he's trying to do that to avoid nipping at you, and he wants to come up and get a few pets. So I think Cabron is probably the most underappreciated dog, even by me, because I think this is a very loyal dog that's pretty smart, and he's protective, usually at the right times. And so he's a very interesting part of the team, very different than the other dogs. And then the last 2 dogs that are here are Coco and Boogie. Now, Coco and Boogie I got because this kid was walking around in Yotatiro, and I had lost a couple dogs due to some accidents and age. So I kind of had an extra spot, in my pack. And this kid comes up and holds these 2 puppies up to me, and they're just so cute. And one of them's white. It's Coco is the white one, and they didn't come with names, but and then the other one is Boogie, and they were just such cute little puppies, very nice. And the reason they got their names is because the Boogie, is from Boogeyman, something like that. Like the gringo parents will scare their children by saying, if you don't go to sleep, the boogeyman's going to get you, or something. And Coco is the same thing in Mexican culture, where they say, oh, you got to do this or the Coco will get you. Coco is this monster. There's also a really cool animated movie called Coco about Day of the Dead, but that's a different thing. You should watch it, though. It's really good. Since I was gone from the accident for a while, Coco and Boogie have grown up to be the biggest dogs here. Very fine looking, very healthy. Not super people focused yet. They could use some training, but they're just great dogs to have as part of the pack. And so that's my pack right now. That's is that 5.5 dogs? Am I missing a dog? No. So really I have 4.5 dogs. Wait, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5.5 dogs, because Sunrise is half a dog. Not really, but half here. All right, so now you know who the dogs are. And, yeah, part of my little family.